Coming up on Makosi Today.
Now, many people expect a pastor's wife to be the do-it-all, have-it-all kind of person.
On this very special edition of Makosi Today, I am in Edo State, Benin City, Nigeria, and I speak to a very dear friend of mine, Rev Laurie Idahosa of Church Unusual.
What do you think is your most important responsibility as a pastor's wife?
As a pastor's wife, your responsibility is to be a wife, to strengthen your husband, to love your husband, to honor your husband, to respect him. And as you do that, you bring honor and respect to him in the congregation. Your first responsibility is to your husband before it's to anyone else. Now, many people expect a pastor's wife to be the do-it-all, have-it-all kind of person. Let me tell you, when you are who you are, when you bring your authentic self to the table and you don't try to copy the mannerisms or the behaviors of other pastors' wives, and you just do you, I'll tell you, you'll be an excellent pastor's wife. Love your spouse, love your family, take good care of them because they are the example. People are watching you to see really if you're living what you preach. So your number one responsibility is to live what you preach, love your husband, honor and respect your husband, and you're going to bring honor and respect to him in the church.
Being both a pastor's child and a pastor's wife, is there anything you think is not part of your role that others may assume is?
Being a pastor's child and being a pastor's wife is a lot of pressure. Everyone's looking up to you. Everyone thinks that you have it all together, and you don't have to have it all together. I think authenticity is one of the gifts that God has given us in this 21st century. Not trying to pretend and, wear the perfect hair and the perfect makeup all the time and sit the correct way and follow all the rules. No, be who God created you to be. You don't have to take on the roles of other people that other people expect you to do. For example, if you're really good in arts and in drawing, let that be your expression to the church. If you're great in singing, let that be your expression. You don't have to follow every other pastor's wife or pastor's kid and be the one who teaches Bible study on Wednesday night, for example, if that's not your strength. Find your strength and flow in your strength. When you find your strength and flow in your strength, you'll find that you have true expression of God's love to his people.
What boundaries have you established in order to protect your marriage and family life, learning from your experience with your parents too?
Boundaries are critical to anyone who wants to have a successful life that's a public life. If you want to have a successful public life, you have to know where to draw the line. There's some conversations you don't let people hear. There's some places that you don't let people into. You have to have the sanctity of your home. You have to have the sanctity of places that are trusted places, that you don't open up to the world. As a kid growing up, I used to be so scared of my parents in the pulpit because they would get up on a Sunday morning and they would tell all my stories from the week. And I used to be like, is there nothing sacred? Let me tell you, as pastors that have children, have something sacred. Don't tell the whole world every mistake your child ever made. Don't make all your church members spies to watch after your children so they're always reporting back to you. Let your kids be free. Let them grow. When you train up a child in the way he should go, when he's old, he's not going to depart from it. You as a parent and as a pastor have to trust the word the same way everybody else does. So don't expose your children. Don't expose your spouse, the negative parts of your family to the pulpit. Keep things sacred. Have times that are just your family. My husband always takes me out on a date at least once a week. And at least once a week, we have family time where we spend just with our 3 boys. If you don't schedule it, it won't happen. You wonder why so many so many pastors have their children running astray. It's because they don't make time for them. You need to make time, you need to prioritize, and you need to have boundaries.
I hope you're enjoying this very special edition of International Women's Day, International Women's Month, because I'm stretching it throughout March. Don't go away.
How can other women in the congregation best support you practically and in prayer?
Listen, ladies, Your congregation may not be the people who strengthen you. Your congregation are the people that you're sent to strengthen. Now, yes, there might be times that they speak a word in season that strengthens and encourages you, but in general, you don't go to the people who you're helping and ask them for help. That's called codependency. You want to go to the people who you're helping and always have something to offer, always have something to bring to the table. So that tells me that you need another set of friends. You need a network. You need an association, a group of people that you can talk to that are not in your church, that aren't going to be there to judge you later or to criticize you or to take apart your sermon to tell you, well, that's not what you're actually going through. You said that, but you're going through this. No, don't get help from the people you're helping. Find strength elsewhere. Find strength in family. Find relationships that you can confide in, that you can trust. I encourage you, ladies, while your congregation might be the people you're tempted to talk to, limit and have boundaries of how much you let them into your personal life, and find friendships outside the pulpit.
How do you apply Galatians chapter 6, verse 2, carrying each other's burdens when facing difficulties such as IVF processes and combining with frustrations in ministry?
Galatians chapter 6, verse 2 talks about carrying one another's burdens. And in verse 3, it says something really interesting. I want to read it to you. In the New Living Translation, it says, if you think you are too important to help someone, you are only fooling yourself. You are not that important. And let me change that a bit and to say, if you think you're too important to get help from someone, you're fooling yourself. Trust me, you need help. You can't go this alone. You need people to surround you and strengthen you. You know, my husband and I went through many years of infertility, and we had 6 in vitro fertilization treatments. We didn't go it alone. Nothing works in isolation. We had our parents to support us. We had our pastors. We had people that surrounded us in prayer, strengthening our faith as we went through this process. And by God's grace, God blessed us with 3 beautiful children at the end of it through natural conception. So let me tell you, get help, get strength, strengthen one another, bear one another's burdens. You are not alone in this battle. And I think isolation is one of the biggest tricks of the enemy that he uses in pastors' families. He wants the pastor's family to feel isolated, to feel alone, to feel like they don't have anyone to help them, anyone to talk to. And that's just a lie of the enemy to keep you from the strength that's available to you through the body of Christ.
So I challenge you to spend more time with your girlfriends, to spend more time with the women in your lives. And instead of compare how long somebody's hair is or the color of their skin, the pigmentation of their skin, learn from each other, feed off each other, give and receive from your friends. Until next time, take care of yourself and take care of each other.